My name is Jake Dobrins, and I'm the founder and president of Creations Company. I want to share about some of my experiences with creation science and how that's actually made me a better student of science, and how that as a young person, biblical creation is absolutely foundational. So I've been in the public school system since kindergarten. I've been through tons of science classes. I've been taught this materialistic worldview throughout all of them. Evolution, whole 9 yards. But one of the things that I've observed is that as a student of biblical creation, I've actually been a better science student. I learned about apologetics first the summer after my 2nd grade year. So even though I was really young, I still was able to grasp a few of the concepts. As I progressed in my understanding of biblical creation, and then I got to the point like in middle school and high school, we were really learning in-depthly about evolution, about biology in general. I realized that I knew the concepts better than other people did. By studying, the creation-evolution controversy, I knew all the terms about evolution. In fact, I knew more than that, because all sorts of things in biology are really evidence against evolution. Cells, the design for cells, this idea of irreducible complexity, although the science teachers in the public school system would never tell you any of that, I knew about the concepts that we were learning because they, in fact, went against evolution, and they were evidence for God. So that, even though they didn't say that, I already knew the concepts. I had learned them because they're evidence for the existence of God. So when, say, freshman year biology came around and we had a whole unit on evolution, I understood the different kinds of natural selection, could tell you what homology is. I was ahead of everybody else. Even though I didn't embrace evolution as something factual, I knew it well enough, I have to know it well enough in order to refute it, that I was ahead of the other students, the students who believed in evolution and understood it. So the funny thing is, being a biblical creationist made me a better science student, and it made me understand evolution more than what the teachers were teaching us. Because they only have a unit to get through this stuff. I'd spent years reading on the subject and studying it, perusing websites and taking in books where I can only understand a small percentage of it. Over the time, I did get to understand a little bit more about these scientific concepts as I got older and as I began to understand. But still, the constant theme throughout all my science classes, specifically biology, was that when other people were first learning about a subject, many, many years ago, I had first discovered it. I had first learned it because so many different things in different areas of science are directly evidence for God. So, as for science literacy, I was ahead of the time as a biblical creation student. As I mentioned earlier, I'm the founder of Creationist Company. Creationist Company was a ministry I started back my 6th grade year, when I was about 12 or 13. It was small, just a website, but since then it's grown into an actual 501c3 nonprofit. That means donations are tax deductible. And although it's still small, I have a small band of 4 or 5 different writers that help me out with the ministry. These are high school students who are Bible believing and who understand the flaws in evolution. More and more people today are starting to realize that this so-called foundation of science, that is evolution, is in actuality not that accurate. The facts really don't support it. And I have been privileged to interact with many of those young students of science who recognize the flaws in evolution and in this materialistic thinking. Unfortunately today, there are many professors at colleges and many scholars and many people in general that have decided to accept these ideas of evolution and millions of years. They rightly recognize that the Bible and science are not at odds. You don't have to throw out one or the other. Unfortunately, what they do is they have to throw out individual pieces of scripture in the Bible in order to accept some of these ideas coming from science. So while I commend them for realizing that science doesn't need to be completely abandoned by Christians, it's really not the best idea to then give up this high authority of Scripture, to sacrifice pieces of Scripture for accepting science. Next year, I'll be attending a Christian university. This year, I'm a senior in high school. And I'm not so sure that I will really be getting a biblical creation education. As I've mentioned, for a variety of reasons, a lot of the scholarly Christians have begun to accept evolution and millions of years, whether they're biology teachers or Bible teachers. Next year, I'm rather certain I'll be encountering these. My hope is that as scientists and as Christians, they will be open to alternative viewpoints, especially viewpoints that hold Scripture as a higher authority than the ideas and the interpretations of mankind of the physical evidence that they see. It's never easy being kind of the biblical creation minority. I had to experience that through public school. But I hope next year I can continue my ministry into the Christian college that I'm attending, that I can have discussions with the students and with the professors on what it really means to be a Christian who believes wholly in the Bible. And I don't expect that it will be an easy journey. David Kinnaman, in his book, You Lost Me, described many young people as having this sense of that the church is anti-science, and so they run away. That's not true. While some churches might take kind of an anti-scientific approach, I hope that young people can realize that Christianity readily embraces science, but it recognizes that science are the conclusions of fallible men, people who can make mistakes. The Bible, on the other hand, is written by men who are inspired by God, and God does not make mistakes. So like this conference, this event that you are participating in today, is all about understanding not that science is wrong, but that science can be better understood in light of God's revelation through Scripture. As I've shared it with my experiences with the public school system, understanding the world through a biblical creation lens has made me more prepared for science. It's made me understand that, number one, just because some guy with a PhD said it doesn't make it true. It's given me a critical outlook on science and other things. You can't just accept what the majority are saying. Instead, you have to analyze it, look at it critically. And that's one of the things that biblical creation has taught me. And that's why I'm so thankful for being able to, even at a young age of like 6 or 7, being able to be introduced to this and studying in it so it can help me build a correct biblical worldview and really help me in understanding the universe in the way it's supposed to be viewed. So I'd like to thank everyone who let me share this message today. And I want to leave it with this reminder that this is an important issue for our youth, that biblical creation is an absolutely foundational principle in Christianity. Literally, it starts off the entire Bible. And the Bible wraps up in this idea of a new creation, a restoration of the old creation. And if the old creation, that is the first creation, when God created the heavens and the earth, if that's not accurate, how can we believe that the new creation, this renewal of earth from its sinful ways, how can we expect that promise by God in the last book of the Bible to be accurate? Anyway, I'm happy I could be here today sharing a little bit of my story and what I've learned, and about how biblical creation has been incredibly beneficial to me, and is not harmful like some may say, but it is in fact enabled me to have a better understanding of science. So again, thank you for letting me be here. I've been Jake Dobrins from Oregon, from up here in Oregon, and I'm grateful for getting the chance to share a few things about what some young people are doing to promote biblical creation. Thank you.